Tim Grant here, professional basketball coach. And with the NCAA, now college athletes are making a lot of money. We want to hear it from the man, Tim. So, Tim, could you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. Thanks for having me too. So I'm Tim Grant. My company is building basketball players. It was based out of Atlanta. That's where I started. I started in the grassroots, like AAU youth basketball. Developed a passion for training players there. Did it for about 6, 8 years in Atlanta. Helped develop a lot of kids from middle school to their varsity basketball, then scholarships to college, and a few of them were blessed enough to make it to the NBA. Then after that, I moved to China for about 4 years, where I started working with Nike and Adidas, doing a lot of camps, developing youth basketball as well, and started working with CBA players. Moved back to the States because of COVID. Now I'm in Tampa, still doing the same thing, doing what I love, just building basketball players.
That is great. So how did you get interested in basketball?
Man, I started back when I was like 3 in my neighborhood. All of my neighbors, they played basketball. And so it just kind of stuck. And once I picked the ball up, I was just hooked for life.
Amazing. So you're basically born with the ball in your hand.
Some could say that.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So did you play college basketball or yourself?
I played junior college basketball, 2-year program.
Excellent. So you've been all around the world teaching basketball.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's amazing. So let me ask you a question. So could you name some of the successful people or athletes that you have coached in your past?
Well, one that's currently he's on the Utah Jazz G League team is Isaiah Miller. About 3 years before him, Tyrus Walker. He was Division II Player of the Year, and he signed a 2-way contract with the New York Knicks. Those are the two who made it to the highest level, I say. And then I have a couple more that play college ball and, overseas pros. So I guess I answered your question.
Yeah, amazing. Basketball is catching like wildfire all over the world. I know in China it's huge. It's a huge game. So with the kids, some of the kids may not make it that far, right? They may not make it to college level or pro level. What are the benefits of learning basketball when they're young? Is there any other benefits besides making big dollars?
So from my experience, the thing about basketball, it teaches social skills, discipline. And what I mean by social skills, I've had kids who were like shy, just real shy kind of to themselves. And you put them in an environment where they're learning and they're competitive. And then they start being around other kids who do the same, and it just opens them up. And then a lot of times basketball, it can put you in different places normally that socially you wouldn't be in. Just like I said, when I was in China, normally all you hear was military would get you there overseas like that. But me being able to go overseas and train, it just puts you in different atmospheres that you normally wouldn't get into. And it just opens your, like I said, the social aspect, learning, just everything. I think it's just sports in general. It just builds kids up socially.
Tell me about your son. I understand that your son is very successful. He's getting a lot of awards and accolades from basketball.
He works hard, and I'm very proud of him. I would say he's an example of the social part, just being in diverse cultures, being able to play in China and Taiwan and Philippines, and then in the States, it just opens his horizon. You know what I mean? To everything. And now I can see that he can be in any social community or whatever and just blend in. And that's all because of basketball, I think.
Amazing. Yeah, that opens the world for any kids, right?
I agree.
It does enormous things for them as they grow up, being able to assimilate into any culture and communicate with anybody. That's great. Tell me, there's a lot of coaches out there, obviously, coaching basketball. What makes you different from the other coaches?
I think number one is like experience, I say, and experience with working with players from the youth level and then staying with them and training them on every level. So my knowledge has increased in the game and how I teach the game. Right. But just being able to, I think it's a pretty big thing when you can take a kid who is considered like a recreational player, beginner, and just groom them step by step until they make it to a varsity high school level, and then, like I said, a college level, and some to pro. So I would say with me, my style is I'm very detailed, right. And I have a certain eye. I can see what players are comfortable with doing, and I can just kind of enhance what they're comfortable at and kind of build from there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really good. Now, for someone who's interested in basketball, but maybe they lack that physical talent or other coordination requirements, what would you recommend for someone like that? Can they still play basketball?
Sure. Everybody's not going to be gifted with, athleticism and everything, or strength. So the thing is, you have to build players up. You have to see what they're good at. They could be a high IQ player. You don't have to jump out the gym to be successful in basketball. But if you're smart, you can kind of play and relate to anybody on any level. But I would also recommend that all players do participate in some type of strength training to develop those muscles so they can compete, on any level.
Right. So for someone who, like me, that's 5'5", a little short for the basketball team, still have hope?
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah. Americans traditionally dominate the basketball arena, right? In the Olympics, Americans basically outperform everyone else. Do you think that is because of the physique or the athletic makeup of the Americans, or do you think that it's the training behind it? That means other countries may be able to catch up with America if they have the same trainings?
That's a good question, because that can kind of go either way. So I'd say in the past, it's definitely the training, the competition, the environment that players are brought up in, which kind of helped Americans succeed. Right. But however, you have players from all over the world now. You have like Greek Freak. He was the MVP. He won the finals. You have Joker for the Denver Nuggets. He won back-to-back MVPs in the league. And these guys are from Greece. And I think Joker's from, I don't want to mess it up, somewhere in Europe. I'm going to say that. Okay. So you have players all over the world that are catching on and developing as fast in other parts of the world. So I think it's very global and competitive. But however, a lot of players do they do train in the States, even though they might be in different countries. So I think the training and that competition, because in America, you have so many players that are gifted physically, mentally, and then you just have them all in one place. Every state you can go is so many hoopers, so many skilled players. So that just develops a different type of grit, I believe. And I think that's why the U.S. has been successful for
Mm.
many years.
Besides the physical training, how important is mental training and diet? Does that have anything to do with athletic performance?
Oh, definitely. The diet part first is key. You know, you have to put the right fuels in the engine so the engine can go. You know, so recovery, everything. So diet plays a tremendous part of the game, and then the mental aspect. You hear a lot now about like mental health, players' mental health, and everything. And that's just as important. You can have all the physical gifts, but if you don't have the mentality, the mental strong, then it's going to be hard to succeed. So I think both of those factors are very key in development.
What type of diet would you recommend professional athletes to consume? What type of food would be best for them?
I think what I've learned in my years, I'd say, is eating according to your blood type. You know what's inflammatory and inflammatory for you. Some people do plant-based. Some people, you know, they do meats. But if that doesn't sit well with your blood type, then you're not gonna get the results that you need. So first, you have to educate yourself on what foods are right for my blood type, and then you form a diet there because everybody's different.
Okay, so it's bio individual, and you wouldn't recommend a lot of processed food, though, right?
No, definitely not. We know that's not healthy.
Right. What's your vision of basketball coaching in the future?
Well, for me, like currently right now, I have a fifth grade team that I'm developing,
Right.
and I kind of want to reinvent the cycle that I did before, and I just want to create pro players from this age group and just develop and see them, you know, grow and blossom. But in the next 5, I could see myself working with the NBA team, player development coach, skills training,
Great.
or if not an NBA team, working with different international players all over the world. So
Right.
probably I'll do both.
And basketball has helped so many people, especially the less privileged in our communities, to actually grab up opportunities, right, in the future. Do you see that as an avenue for a lot of less privileged populations?
Definitely. I mean, basketball gives you a outlet, like a way out. You know, if you let's say if you're less fortunate, but you happen to be good in basketball, it's just gonna open up doors for you that you wouldn't have opened before. I've seen it countless times. You know what I mean? So it definitely helps. It's not the only way. Education is first,
Right.
but however, if you can play, it's definitely going to open up doors for you, no matter where you are.
Right. And I wanted to talk about the NCAA right now, with college students, athletes allowing to receive huge compensations from endorsements. I heard numbers like in the thousands or even in the millions, right? Does that create opportunities, or how do you see that affecting the sport?
I think it's good. So it's not the NCAA, it's the NIL. They're the one who are working with players and getting them deals. So for me, I always thought that the NCAA was and is a good platform. However, there was always restrictions. You know, you couldn't have your own business and everything. So you'd have these players playing for these colleges, but they weren't being compensated, but they were making the schools millions of dollars. So now the tables have turned. So the players are able to make millions of dollars. And now, even before they even go to college, I see now LeBron James' son, Bronny, he signed a deal with Nike and he signed a deal with Beats by Dre. And he's just a senior in high school this year. He's not the only, it's a few more, and even women athletes, they're able to sign these deals as well. So what I think is that it's a good opportunity to be able to brand yourself and start your own business off of the work that you've been doing since you were, a kid, and getting paid and compensated for that. So I think it's great. And also, I think it's going to become a lot more competitive. You're going to see a lot of players get better faster because they know the money's out there.
Right.
And I think that with some high school player, like I said, Bronny receiving a deal now, that's good. But in the future, you're going to start to see kids even younger, probably middle school within the next few years, get compensated. And that's going to be crazy. You know what I mean? But I think it's good. Why not?
Amazing. So what's your suggestion for parents if they see that their kids have talents in sports?
Man, my suggestion is don't chase the money.
Right.
Don't chase the rankings, wanting your kid to be ranked so fast. I think just trust your work. I think if you continue to put the work in and it's genuine, and I think doors will naturally open for you. I don't think you have to force anything. Don't over push and over stress kids. Allow them to be kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
But everybody's different. Everybody's different. So I do understand that. But I think that, like I said, just trust the work and let the doors come organically. And I think everybody will be okay.
Wow. Thank you. That's a great advice. Just last question. If our audience are interested, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram. My page is at netsports, NET_sports. I'm on there, and I also have a YouTube channel. It's I Build Basketball Players. So you can catch me on Instagram and YouTube.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been an incredible education for me, and I'm sure for the audience as well. And I really want to thank you. It's been an honor having you in our show. Thank you very much, Tim.